and then and then places where people can look to further develop the language learning, right? I wanted to highlight, of course, your website, and hopefully people are utilizing the website and utilizing, the recordings, and of course that document that was created as we moved along. And there's also a couple of books here, and this is something that I'm using my phone right now because there might be some Q's and A's on the other side here, and I got a couple of things happening here. But here's a really good book, and I wanted to raise this one especially because it's called Awakening Our Languages, and it's the Indigenous Language Institute. So the Indigenous Language Institute, the Handbook series, and there's 12 in total. There's 12 of these little booklets, and they come, and they're very easy reads, but it's very helpful in terms of strategies that work, and the research that went into these booklets is amazing. I still use them in a lot of my teachings and a lot of program development. I know there's a lot of champions in here. There's a lot of language champions that have been logging on. But here's an example of what's in the booklets, right? So again, the first handbook, it's an introduction, and it's an intro to sort of, videotaping, how you feel about languages, so it just goes an overview of how the handbooks are weaved together. And the first one is learning about language resources, learning about these resources, what type of resources should adults use, and so on. So it's like developing, all of these ideas. And again, I'm sharing this because there's an Indigenous Language Act, and letting out the big secrets here to help. It's no use keeping it secret. It should be shared all over the place, and we need this type of language programming every night of the week, for all ages. Why does school have to end at 3:30? What about the adults? What about the Googums? What about the Muslims that are wanting to learn, right? How do you incorporate families? How do you encourage family to keep language as they eat, supper or breakfast, so those things there. So that's handbook 1. Handbook 3 has to do with conducting surveys, and surveys are good because they give you an idea of the language health of your community, the language health of your family. 2003, we canvassed the community, and we canvassed the community, and the community told us what they saw that needed to be shared, what they shared, what dancing, regalia, sewing, all these things. And you can individualize, of course, the surveys, right? And then I've also seen surveys that were done through SurveyMonkey, right? For those of you that are really good with technology, SurveyMonkey, you can use the surveys that they have in that handbook, and you can just customize it and adopt it, individualize those surveys. And then again, handbook 4 envisioning your language program, right? So for you proposal writers out there, if you're a dreamer just like me, I love the dream. I love that side of the brain where you can just kind of think of a program learning journey for yourself or your family members, right? Your household, your school. So again, that's Handbook 4. Handbook 5 is knowing language learners. Is that person a second language learner? How do you assess that language learner? Are they a very fluent speaker? Is that elder a fluent speaker, or is that man a language speaker that you can approach as an apprentice, right? So again, that's Handbook 5. Handbook 6 is knowing our teachers now, right? Knowing our teachers in the schools, knowing who would be a good teacher. If I want to be a good fisherman, guess who I'm going to hang out with? The ones that are harvesting the fish, right? Those are the best educators that are out there. Making relationships with them and knowing how to cut those fish, right? A jackfish, you're going to cut differently to a whitefish. And then a whitefish and a pickerel, you're going to be cutting them differently, right? Depending on are you going to smoke the whitefish, or are you going to boil it, or how are you going to? So again, the inspection as well, the anatomy that goes in. How do you sharpen a knife, right? And I always tease the people that come here. I'm like, okay, at least if you're gonna cut yourself, make sure you cut yourself with a sharp knife, right? So again, why not that sharpening in the language? Why not sharpen that knife in the language, right? So those type of things that are out there, knowing your teachers. If I want to learn about medicines, if I want to learn, and I wish I could say, oh yeah, I beaded this vest. No, I didn't. I tanned a little bit of this hide, but the beading, right? I want to become a really good beater. I'm going to hang out with those ones that bead and include the language. So again, these are the teachers, the teachers, and knowing your teachers. Handbook 7 is training our teachers. How do you train the teachers to be good language teachers, especially? And you can't look at English, and you can't, because they're structured differently. They're grammatically structured differently. We talk in word sentences. To teach those other modes, the other 2 modes that we use. How do you teach those teachers to become good teachers, effective teachers, right? Sometimes, and I've had teachers that that have come across. They can't, they don't want to teach. They don't feel comfortable teaching the high school students. They love the little ones, and they have the energy for the little ones. And then I myself, I'm like, oh man, ones, because I'm gonna be like Wisagi-tak and sleep, as they sleep. They're gonna tire me out. So again, it's understanding how to teach the teachers. And just because somebody is a fluent speaker doesn't automatically make them a good teacher. Teachers have to be taught how to teach. All right. So I'm just you can quote me on that one, because like how many times I've seen like people trying to go, like they're very fluent and you assume that they're going to be amazing teachers, but they need to be taught those skills, right? So again, what teaching, how does that curriculum look? What does that curriculum look like, right? So designing a curriculum that works for the young ones, designing a curriculum that works for those the kugums, the tapans, and also the all ages. So what type of curriculum, how does that look like? Because a plan is needed. You need to have a plan. And again, Handbook 10 is evaluating yourself, evaluating your language, evaluating all those good things that go into a successful program. Sometimes you fail, sometimes you're like, I'm gonna change this up, right? So reflection is really good, right? So again, I'm sure a lot of you are looking at the past, 10 or so classes and thinking, man, only if this could continue, or maybe if I can continue in my own dialect, or if I can create, some sort of programming for our accent, because understand we have our own accents as well, right? So it would be awesome to sound and privilege your own dialect and your own accents and the tones that you have and the slang that you have in your communities, right? Privilege that. So again, that'll go along with that evaluation part of this. Handbook 10 is understanding first and second language acquisition, right? So again, I was very lucky that I have parents that are both right? And then it wasn't until we started learning a second language, which was English, and of course TV taught us English, and the Muppet and the Sesame Street, and all those cartoons that we woke up really early on Saturday. Now we're dating ourselves here, right? And we only had 2 channels. So again, understanding, how do you teach first language acquisition, and then how do you teach second language acquisition? Those methods that go into that. The teaching activities that go, are you going to only teach in a classroom? And please don't, right? Because what we've seen, if you're going to use wagutun is kinship. If you're going to use kinship, please take people outside. Let them feel the sun. Let them feel that wind. Let them feel the thunder beings when they're like big fat snowflakes today. It was amazing, and that's my favorite type. These slow, and they're just floating, really fat snowflakes, and I just that type. Again, to feel that thunderbird, to feel the horses, to feel the dogs. If you come out to our camp, you're gonna see those dogs, and we run them all. And if we're not on the sleds in the snow, we're running them with ATVs, with side by side, and they're still running, exercising them. And of course, those are our relatives. Handbook 11, teaching activities, ideas, going outside for a hike, going outside for a snowshoe, making a snowball, having a snowball fight. And so activities, we need to add to these activities. We need to add to these activities to indigenize them, for us to create activities that are Cree based. Gugum did, Mushum did. April 15th, we're having our annual spring hike tanning camp. So these beautiful things, this is Al-Qaeda. These beautiful things are, and I don't know if Jamie's on right now, but he understands how hard it is to create hides, right? How much work, right? Yeah. Do we have a hand up or a?
Oh, I just said hello.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's yeah. So again, April 15th, which is Good Friday, we usually have it 10 days. Like, I think the 24th is the last day, which is kind of like on a Sunday. But yeah, like we're having that hike camp, and we're getting together, and we're going to be making some moose guns, hopefully at the camp here. But those type of activities, right? What do we do in the springtime? Here, I remember people used to go out, and they used to go egg hunting. Not only duck hunting, but egg hunting. And we used to go get those eggs, and we used to paddle out there, and we would go into the reeds, and we would like, we only get this at this time, so you have to sort of time it right. And of course, you're not taking every egg, you're just here and there, right, to make sure that conservation is weaved through there. So those type of spring activities. And then the last handbook is 12, handbook 12, and that's using technology. That's using Zoom. That's using video on your cameras, using audio on your camera, and then using TikTok, using Snap, using YouTube videos, using what's out there, and trying to normalize and make sure that these students and our children and everybody are enjoying our language. So this is a very, very good set of handbooks. Like I said, I really, really recommend people to grab these in terms of developing and not stopping here, not stopping at this course, not stopping the language learning that can continue to happen in our home fires and in all of our communities, because people are really wanting this. I shared a little bit of the stories last week with Indian residential school survivors. And again, I said, we have to normalize our languages. We have to sing our songs. We have to go to our ceremonies. Mental health, identity. How come we're not acknowledging our lodge holders? How come we're not visiting our elders? How come we're not putting them to help us, right? And of course, I understand our COVID measures and we want to protect our elders, but as we move to the future, this is a time and place that we have to really reset the way we think about languages, the way we think about our learning journeys, right? So I just wanted to give maybe just that the acknowledgement of the Indigenous Language Institute down in the States, because a lot of research and a lot of people put these booklets together, and they're amazing. Let's see. All right. So again, I just wanted to quickly come in here and just say hello, and I wanted to leave on a good note, of course, and just make sure that everybody is don't stop learning. Kayo taya, kay puyok. Agamimutan sukat kagwinihiyaw ya. Kapto kagwinihiyaw ya. Kawanskaya kagisimok. Kawaya kagisimok. Right? Kagismustamatutan. Let's do this all together, and so I'll close this in prayer.
Sorry, Dr. Lewis, you are frozen. I think it's those big snowflakes.
And help each other pray. Help us all in communal prayer. Ni hiyon, ni hidoon, ni nuon, kagu pinama. Minogo sa gusto ganantuta, gitap do mani hiyon, gusto. Kapam stragita, gusto. How kapam nagatamuya, nistanan. Hipam sawi mi o mapikskun, kapachita ya. Kapam gagi sumustamasyo ya, kapam natamaso ya, kapam mamiupikskwato ya. Aw mino kahkyo, aw mama mahtawap chichagan so gap chita ya. Kap mamiupay genistanan kap mapachita ya. Minagihte ego gip ngagis musto ya. Kinuiso tagap msagin skin go ya. Mina kahkyo nistanan no akumaga nago go tagap maya chik ngagis musto mo gusto. Wikisto kahkyo kap nantutamig. Ibang gagismo yan kahkyo kap mamioya. Ibang mamiogishita ya o magkasnamasyo ya gagamimo ya. Gagamimo ya nistanan. Aw miumam trinitsagan minan. Kap chimihta maga kiki kap muita muya. Kap muita magusya nistanan kahkyo. Aw sana kap mamiutipskan snan. Hay maitia. Thank you. Hay. Now, and please keep in touch. Through Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Please, if there's any Instagrammers out there, please create some videos. Document your language journeys. It's time to start understanding that there's thousands of people that are wanting to learn this language. And if you don't believe me, there's a word of the day on Facebook. There's about over 40,000 people that are the members of that page. You know, look at that, 40,000 people that are wanting to learn the language. So again, it's not going to take one person. It's going to take a whole bunch of us, right? It's going to take all of us. So I thank all of you for logging in. And
Dr. Lewis, honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm sure everybody's who have joined, like your kindness, actually, your kindness, your generosity, your humor, your ability to just be so engaging. Your stories, there's just so much. This has been, like I was saying the last time we met, I am nowhere near being a language speaker, but I'm thinking differently. Ever since these evenings, I'm thinking so differently about words, about language, about the descriptiveness of it. I'm thinking about language like I never have before, and I'm just so thankful. And I put it to the group earlier, if we did this again next year, would you be interested? And there was just an overwhelming, like, everybody, yes, absolutely, yes, yes, yes. So we'll have to talk again.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. And then again, everybody have a good evening, and then let's keep in touch virtually if we can. And then share, you know, please share if there's any, like I said, TikTokers, YouTubers, and anything. If you're eating, if you're creating a bannock, if you're creating a cake, anything, you know, try to do it in language and share that, right? So again, thank you, Diane, and thank you to the division there, and then greetings from us over here. And we'll have we don't have a goodbye, but we say we'll see you again.
Examaga.
Hey, hi.
Thank you, everybody. Take care, and we'll get this out there for the next time this winter.
Yeah, tabuya. Okay, we start.